I'm Tsimintia, and I come from Georgia. Most of the time I lived in Tbilisi, but I was born in a smaller town in Georgia. And then soon after my bachelor studies I moved to Estonia and did my filmmaking studies there, which took something like 4 years. And then I went back to Georgia at some point, and basically now I've been living there for 3 years, and I'm about to move out again. And before I used to focus more on fiction filmmaking, and I was a screenwriter. But since I moved to Tbilisi, I realized that documentary is more efficient media in the society where I'm staying in. Because a lot of things in the surrounding kind of were touching me, and I could see them as being stories or on their own without fictionizing, with no need to fictionize them and write out and put your fantasies into it. So they were like alive on their own. You just wanted to go and, you know, capture them somehow. So that's why I slowly switched to the documentary world, and you can call it different names like creative, author, experimental documentary, but it's rather creative documentary where you have a author's point of view on a stage. Well, there is a story and it has some amount of objectivity in it, but it's sort of a very subjective view on the subject that you are trying to depict and describe. And in the approach, I'm always into capturing some strongly atmospheric environment. So my films are mostly this sort of atmospheric, slow films that focus on a very specific place or a community, and doesn't have the massive fastly going storyline that blows your head away, but you rather need patience to keep watching it, and kind of, yeah. The language I'm using, it's very simple. It's like I use observation. I don't intervene too much myself. At least I didn't do so far. And I try to give the viewer freedom to look at the place and feel the place, and to make decisions on their own. And yeah, as I said, the language is really simple, and I really like to do things static without complicated. It also depends, of course, on the story how much it fits. But so far, as I've discovered, most of the stories I take are suitable for a slow and static image and expression of it. I always have a vague idea of what sort of narratives or what sort of emotions I'm looking for, and it's not always specified. I cannot always articulate it that I'm looking for a place which looks like this and that, but I sort of know it. So and I'm always aware. For instance, if I live in Tbilisi, I'm always aware that now I'm in the state of waiting for the next story. So anything that comes around, I filter them, and then I go for the most suitable one. And it's not that I really plan. No, it's, how can I put it? It's somehow they always show up at the right point. The project I'm doing in Košice is a part of a longer project, which I came up with 1 year ago, and I started doing the project also in the residency in Netherlands. But by that time it was really fresh idea, and the first film I made in Netherlands is quite abstract, and in a way it consists of images which only talk about some atmosphere, and it's vague, and there is no stronger story behind it, which is which is a pity, but on the other hand, now I see it as an introduction to the whole project and the whole film. And what I mean by the whole film is that I imagine it as a collection of shorter stories, which are all connected to the place or a community of the city where I go. That used to be in some way iconic or important to the locals, or important culturally or politically, and now it's losing its importance and it's kind of dying a little bit. But then if it is dying, I still need some life remaining in there that is trying to struggle, and to look at it, whether it's able to survive or not, and how is it going to do that. And because the first film was, as I told you, very this image-based, abstract, because I didn't actually have a lot of time and the connection to locals, and I didn't have many characters I could get in that small town. Now I really felt an urge to do something with characters and to go more into the place, and also to figure out what's the main issue in Košice, you know. So it was like lunchtime when me and a friend of mine who was visiting me in the beginning, we just went to town looking for food, and we entered this place, and apparently they have no food, just alcohol, but it was full of people inside. But it's a little bit this creepy place with low light, smoked, like people sitting and chatting, and it feels like it's never been ventilated, you know, from the smoke that is like so much inside. And the bartender lady, she was really nice and friendly. And when I entered, I felt that this is really not a place for tourists, because I got the whole attention of some stranger invading their space and kind of, what are you doing here? It's ours. So I really felt this strong community and family thing, and they would talk between each other, one table to the other, and so they all knew each other. And then I decided to go back there, and I went with one of the residents, Matej, who speaks Slovak, because it's also a big issue here that not many people speak English, and especially the generation that I'm dealing with in the bar, it's rather unexpected that they speak English. So we went there a few times, and I felt that they could accept me for a while, you know, and we also felt that they want to talk to us and you know, share things, and they're really open and friendly. And yeah, then I decided to film it, and I talked to all the characters, and they were fine with it. I think this place that I decided to film, it is special in a way, because you know, it's a community, but inside the community it's a combination of lots of things, you know, for instance, including the Slovak pop songs that they're playing all the time, and the habits and the communication, which is like in details that is different from maybe other countries, and I don't really see it so obviously on the surface, but I think it is there, and it matters.